Welcome back to the Woodgrafter. It's Sunday the 19th of September, time for a channel update. So loads of you got in touch saying, hey Andy, where's the channel updates gone to? We've not seen one for a while and we'd like to know what's going on in your world. So we're back with the regular channel updates. Slightly different format today. Going to start off with a quick update and some questions, particularly where have you been, Andy? Then we're going to start looking at a new feature called Tooltips. These are the things that you advise me to do after a review that I've given to yourselves. Fantastic feedback comes in. Then I want to start to look at Tool Flash. These are tools I've bought in the workshop, but I've not really done a review on. Just share what's going on there and what I have. Then I want to do the channel update to see where we're going to and some exciting plans for the future. And then that'll be about it. So let's get started with what's going on. Now, loads of you have got in touch both on the YouTube channel and on the website saying, hey Andy, you've not done anything for a while. You've not been visible. There's been no videos. You've not been posting on your website. Are you okay? And what's going on? Well, I did have a few personal problems, and thank you so much for everybody who got in touch to see if I was okay. During the COVID pandemic, which was hard on us anyway, I got to the point where I lost my full-time job. If you've never realised it, I do all this as a merging business, as a bit of a hobby, and it's something I want to do in the future full-time when I retire. But for now, I still need a full-time job. So I still find myself in the situation of still worrying about COVID and what's going on with COVID, making sure my family's okay, and suddenly I had the additional pressure of finding a new job. And something happened inside my mind where I sort of kind of just shut down a little bit. It was almost as if I wasn't sat at the computer doing interviews or sending CVs out or trying to get a new job. I wasn't being productive. Hindsight, I shouldn't have done that. I should have stuck with the thing that makes me happy, the woodworking and the YouTube and the website, but I didn't. So I think it's one of those mental awareness issues that we should all be aware of, and sometimes you've just got to stop, and that's what I did. So apologies for being absent. The good news is I've got a new job I started a few months ago, and I'm really excited and enjoying life. So back into doing the videos, and you've seen a few of those come out recently, and back over on the website. And we'll talk more about the videos and the channel and where I'm going next later in this video. So thank you for checking in on me to make sure I was okay. Everything's fine. There was a bit of a blip. We're now back on track again and everything's looking good. Next thing is I want to talk about some tool tips. I've done two video reviews recently. One was about the Bessey clamps and one was about the Incra Express table sled. Both of those videos have gone down incredibly well. I did try a different format in that. I've started to use timestamps in the video. That's brought in a lot of new viewers to the channel and they're responding really, really well. So I'm pleased with that and thank you for taking the time to watch them. Now on the Bessey clamps, I also reviewed these little devices, just the clamping frames I think they were called, and how they can help you in raising your clamps off the table, making sure everything's nice and flush and square to do things like boxes. But if you remember, I found a problem on these. And what I was saying is once you've got those into position, and this is where you clamp your box, the clamps tip. And I was noticing that you begin to fight the box here and the parallel jaws being well parallel to your workpiece. And I said that my solution for that was I just bought some more of these so I can now drop those in happily, and it holds my clamp parallel to the bench and more importantly the jaws parallel to the work. Now somebody got in touch with me and said, hey Andy, have you seen this great video? And I'll leave this link here and also in the description. Did you know you can solve that problem? It's built into the very device you've already got. And I was intrigued. Now the top tip is the bottom of these are removable. You can take those off and they then stack up. You can stack those happily. Not only does that lower the level of these so it's not tipping as much, but it's a perfect height to actually support the clamps at that end, maintaining that bar to be parallel again and those faces square to your workshop. So thank you so much for the tip. As I say, I'll leave the link in the video and go and check out the video where that top tip came from, and that's absolutely awesome as a top tip and solves a problem that I was trying to solve. Gorgeous. Now the next top tip was actually to do with the Incra Express, particularly how you calibrate your fence on the Express to your table saw. Let me show you. As I was going through the assembly video for the Mitre Express, I got to the point where I wanted to square up the mitre gauge to the blade, and I took a known good square, I rested it there and I brought it up to the blade and I squared this up to the blade. But you got in touch with me and said, hey Andy, you've done that wrong. That doesn't guarantee squareness of this, it just shows you're square to the blade. But if your blade's tilted on an angle, you're not necessarily square. What you want to be doing is squaring up to the cut line that you've just made on your table. And I said, no, don't think so. Surely it's the same because the blade's made that cut line. Now, I was pointed once again to a great video, link here, that actually counters my thinking. And it took me a few cycles and brain power to get my head around it, but it's absolutely true. You should not square your mitre gauge up to your blade. Here's why. Now, this is obviously not the blade from here, it's actually a blade from the Capex, but we can use it for illustration. Now, imagine if your blade is angled, obviously exaggerated, inside your table saw. As that blade rotates, this point here is going to cut on this side, and this point here will cut on this side. So if I just turn that over, and it was angled in that way, the actual curve you're going to cut is from that point there to that point there. So what it means is that a blade that's angled in a table saw cuts a wider curve. Now, the only constant that you actually get on a table saw is this T-groove. That can't move, that's fixed. And when I tune my sled and I put my sled into that slot, this can't move. Deliberately, you tighten up so there's no lateral play inside this, so it's fixed. So if your blade is at an angle, it's actually at an angle to that slot. So you want to square your fence up to be 90 degrees to that slot, not 90 degrees to the blade. So an angled blade actually gives you a wider curve, but that curve will always be fixed as well. So you've now got two fixed things. You've got the outside cutting edge of that curve, and you've got the T-slot here being a permanent fixed thing. And you want to square your fence up to one of those fixed points. If you're not using an Incra Express, square it up to this parallel edge. If you're using an Incra Express, you want to square it up to the edge that you've just cut. I was saying, we had a bit of a back and two talking about that, and I said, no, you're wrong, because the blade cuts the curve, so surely the blade position of the curve is the same. No, it's not, because an angled blade just cuts a wider curve. So don't square up to your blade, as I did in the video. Square up to the cut line that it makes, not the blade itself. As soon as you get that, it makes perfect sense. But go and watch this video. It spends much more time explaining that and demonstrating it than I've had time in this video. But another top tip, square to the cut line, not to your blade. And I think that's going to be true of all tools that's got a spinning blade inside it. So I'm actually going to go and recalibrate this using that same technique to see where that makes a difference. Not that I've got a problem, I'm just interested. Now, thank you for sharing the two tips for the Bessey clamps and tuning up the Incra sled. Really made a difference in the workflow, so thank you. If you've got any more tips you want to see here, drop me a line and let me know, andrew@thewoodgrafter.com. I'm always interested in new tools inside the workshop, and I normally have 3 criteria for choosing a new tool for the workshop. Number 1, does it allow me to do something I've not been able to do before? Does it allow me to do something better than I've done it before? Does it allow me to do something faster than I've done it before? And if you watch the channel regularly, you'll always see new tools appearing that I just never ever talk about. So I want to give a shout out to some of the marking gear that I use. Not exciting, I might do a video on marking gear and why I use it in a future video, but for now I just wanted to show you some of the marking gear that I've purchased over the last few months. As always, I tend to go for quality brands. This is the Starret Square, and you'll notice it, or the adjustable square, and you'll notice that for all the features that we're all used to. The reason I went for the Starret is because of the quality. Beautiful construction, it's got a cast iron body, it's got a stainless face, all nicely calibrated in metric centimetres, not an inch in sight, although you can get inch versions of this device, and you can also get inch and metric versions of this device combined. I'm a metric shop, so I've gone for metric. And I wanted something that gives me the ability to measure depths or to make sure things are square and what have you. And this is what I've used, and I bought 2 of these. I got the big Starret there, and I also bought the small one for smaller joints. Now, the large one all came packaged in this rather nice packaging here, and inside the kit it also came with some additional heads that I can put onto the rule. Came with a variable angled head, which is pretty useful to have, and it also came with a centre finder head as well. All that coming in a nice kit. Now, Starret is a well-known brand, it's a top-of-the-range brand, but it was an investment I well wanted to make. Now, I was using this one day on one of the videos and I was checking for square, and somebody got in touch and said, "Hey Andy, why are you checking for square with an adjustable rule? That doesn't make any sense to me because you're going to have inaccuracies." And I went, no, Starret's a great brand, it works really well. And they challenged me, and I looked into this and I did the standard square test, you know, where you put it on a straight edge, draw a line, turn it off. And indeed, there was a smallest amount, I'm talking fractions of a millimetre, but there was the smallest amount of variation from square on that device. So it's more than accurate enough for what you do in woodworking, but that got me thinking. Now, one of the great advantages of leaving a job that you've been in for many, many years, no matter what the circumstances, if you're well liked and you get a reputation, people give you leaving gifts. And the team I was working with whipped around and they give me some nice gifts and a bag of money. And the bag of money, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to upgrade my squares. And I've been eyeing these little devils up, the Incra Guaranteed Square, for quite a while. And then again, not a cheap investment, but really, really good. And when I tested these using my standard test, put it against a straight edge, draw a line, spin it round, draw the line, the lines were directly on top of each other, showing me that these things are really, really accurate. And both these would agree with each other that they are indeed square. Interestingly, it's hard to see, but when I put it on my Starret Square, I can actually see daylight just here in the two faces. And it's not a lot, it's fractions of a millimetre, but it is indeed there. It's an all aluminium construction. You can see the quality of this, no plastic in sight. The gold piece in the middle is actually a single piece cast, and that's where it gets its accuracy from. And then it's got these two faces here. And because this is a single cast piece, it gives you this nice lip here. So it actually sits and rests on your material incredibly well. It's no tipping down, it just sits there and stays where you put it. And that's absolutely awesome. And the small one is the same sort of configuration as well. So super square, as it says, Incra Guaranteed Square, and it sort of kind of is. Great solid construction. And I bought two sizes of that, a large one and the small one. They also do a 45 degree that I'll probably add to the kit at some point in the future. But yeah, they're another great investment, a great purchase. Now, I've been a fan of this for a while. This is the Incra T Rule. Now, this is the metric version. Again, imperial versions are available. And it's calibrated in millimetres, 10, 20, 30, 40 millimetres, and so on. And at every millimetre mark, there's a hole in the ruler that's 0.5 millimetres wide, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. Which means I can rest the red edge against a known straight point, pick a line, 17 millimetres, pull that down, and now I've made a line that's exactly 17 millimetres from the edge. Now, there's all these offset holes here. The top row is bang on the millimetre, the next row down is 1/4 of a millimetre, 1/2 a millimetre, 3/4 of a millimetre. If I want to do a line that was 31.5, I can now find the 30, find the offset one there. Now that line is 31.5 millimetres from the edge. So it gives me a quick precision that I probably will never ever use, but certainly for the millimetre marks, I find that really, really, really useful. But it can be a bit cumbersome because it's long, then it can interfere with work. So they do a small version. This one is 70 millimetres. So I bought a small pocket version of that as well. Works in exactly the same way, but a little bit more versatile. So they're the tool flashes, things I've put into the workshop but never really spoken about. I might do a measuring video at some point if I get around to it, but they are really good quality tools. They're an investment, they're not cheap, but they're going to serve you throughout your woodworking career, and really good addition to my workshop. So final part is, let's look at the channel and what the channel's doing. Now I'm going to move away from capturing metrics about how many subscribers I've got and how many video minutes have been watched, because it's sort of kind of pointless. I just want to keep making videos that people enjoy. So I'll always mess with the format. I'm always looking to improve. Thank you so much for all the feedback that you keep giving to me. As a result, I've got rid of the overhead camera shot. You're finding it hard to see, and I moved to something that's much more aligned to the bench as a shot. That was directly related to yourselves. The lighting in the shop has been improved, so the quality of the pictures of the video is great. I've moved to a different sound system, so the sound I think is good, cuts down background noise, but allows you to hear what I'm saying, but still get the atmosphere of the workshop. So that's what I'm going to focus on in terms of the videos, the production, the quality and the content. I'm less concerned now about minutes watched and subscribers. But having said that, we're now at 16,136 subscribers as I make this video. So we've passed that 16,000 mark. Remember, my ambition was around about 20,000 towards the end of the year. It's accelerating again as I've come back into doing videos. People are re-engaging with the channel, which is awesome. I've not killed it too much, and we're cracking on towards that model. And what really surprised me is a stat flew up on some message I get from YouTube saying, hey, you've just gone past 800,000 views of your video, which is mind-blowing if you remember where we started off and it was made up one person watched the video and I had a subscriber. So it's great to check in now and see how that's going. Now, because I'm not worried anymore about the subscribers and how many I've got, it allows me to really focus in on that format. All the wisdom tells me to keep a video down to 10 minutes, get in there and get out, because people's attention span isn't that great. I've been watching the way that people interact with my videos, and they tend to dip in and out. They'll come along, they'll see a piece they want, they may go away and try it or think about it or do something different, then watch a bit more of the video. But when I look at the stats, YouTube says, hey, people aren't engaged with the video, Andy. You've got 30-minute videos, they drop in 10 minutes, you should bring it down to 10 minutes. When I've looked at what people are doing in the videos, they drop in, they watch it, they'll go away, they'll come back, they'll watch a bit more. And that's okay, because that's how I designed them. So I'm going to stick with my 30-minute format, because I find that 30 minutes allows me to get into the detail I want to get into. And if there's more detail than that, the multi-video format will continue. You know, I don't really care whether YouTube likes it, whether they promote it or support it. You, my core viewers, seem to like the 30-minute videos. And what we're beginning to see is a gradual, slow increase in the number of people engaging with the channel. And all the comments always reflect the quality of the videos, the detail that we go into, and get involved in the debate. And that's exactly what I set out to achieve. So we're not looking at metrics anymore. We're looking at the quality of the videos, the content of the videos, and I'm sticking to that 30-minute format each week. Exciting news. Last time I did one of these, I was talking about the stuff I wanted to do with CAD and CAM and Fusion. Remember Fusion Gate, where I did a long series of training people about Fusion and it bombed the channel because I alienated some people? That video series continues to grow, and the engagement with that and the comments and the thanks that people have put is awesome. And my own woodworking journey has continued, and I find myself incorporating more and more CAD-CAM type functionality into my process, be that from the 3D printer, be it from the CNC, and I'm weighing up a laser to do some etching work as well on some of my craft projects. So that's going to continue and be a part of my world, and I want to share that with you. But I don't want to make that mistake again of alienating on this channel, the Woodgrafter Channel. This is more about woodworking, tooltips, reviews, project builds, etc. So I'm opening a second channel. Now, I'm going to be going live with that channel next Sunday with an introductory video. The channel is called CAD-CAM for Woodworkers. I've now registered the name, the channel's built. I've just now got to start to upload the content on that. I want to accelerate that as quickly as I can, so do me a favour. I'll drop a link to CAD-CAM for Woodworkers here and in the description. If you can click on that, and even there's no content now, could you subscribe for me? Because I want to get the subscription up quickly, because as soon as I get it to that 1,000 subscribers, YouTube will start to promote the videos and what have you. Every first Sunday of the month is going to be a Woodgrafter video. Every second Sunday of the month is going to be a CAD-CAM for Woodworkers video. Every third Sunday of the month will be Woodgrafters. Every fourth Sunday, CAD-CAM, so on and so forth. So I'll alternate the video production, and that's purely to give me time to fit it all in, because there's a lot going on the Woodgrafter side of the business. So I'm not going to mix them all together, because I think that'll get confusing. The Woodgrafter stays exactly what we've been doing. Tooltips, reviews, chats like this one, project builds, etc. That's going to continue on the Woodgrafter, pure woodworking for us. CAD-CAM is going to focus on Fusion, Vectric, 3D printing, CNC machines, laser when I introduce that to the workflow, and take us from zero knowledge up to that being a productive part of our workflow and our projects moving forward. But that's the big announcement, the big news. CAD-CAM for Woodworkers going live next weekend with its first video. Log on to it, talk about it, promote it, share it in your communities, do everything you can to help me to get the name out there, and I'll start to create content in that way as well. Woodgrafter continues to grow. I've got a backlog of work. COVID killed the business. Nobody was buying anything. It's all picking up again. I've got a couple of TV cabinets I need to make, a whole army of side tables that I need to make. I've got an office desk that I now need to build and get out of the door. I also want to build my table saw cabinet. I've now completed the design on the table saw cabinet. As I say, the CNC cabinet needs to be built. I want to upgrade this entire part of the workshop and get a miter saw station going on inside here. And the next project on the Woodgrafter website will be the tool cabinets that are designed to slot inside here. So lots going on, so that'll give us lots of content to look at moving forward. And I think that's probably enough today, so I hope you found it useful. It's great to catch up again. It's great to be back doing some stuff. I'm really excited, as you can tell. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time on CAD Cam for Woodworkers, and then on the Woodgrafter. Take care.